Fire up DOSBox, lower your expectations for glamour, and prepare for the only 90s computer game that could make a middle schooler scream hail insurance, louder than Headshot. SimFarm isn't merely a quirky cousin to SimCity, it's a pocket-sized agronomy degree disguised as a pixel playground, a title where a gorgeous barley harvest can be followed, without warning, by a tornado that rips your brand new grain silo into organic confetti. Bizarre or classic? Absolutely both. Underrated? Teachers loved it, speed-herding doom jockeys ignored it, and anyone who played learned that soybeans don't care about your feelings. Fundamental? If you've ever rotated crops in Stardew Valley or taken out a livestock loan in Farming Simulator, the design DNA traces straight back to Maxis' 1993 field trip into Middle American soil science. Historical context: by 1993, Maxis had become a household name thanks to SimCity. Its software toy philosophy encouraged designers to transmute niche systems into addictively tweakable sandboxes. Internal producer-designer Tom Meigs teamed with Eric Albers to ask a deceptively simple question: what if you zoom that overhead grid far enough to watch corn prices bounce in 5-bushel increments? Marketing initially balked. Farm spreadsheets won't outsell alien ants. But the concept gained traction once educators saw potential. A 64-page teacher's guide came bundled for classroom use, complete with soil pH worksheets and futures market homework. The retail box shipped in October 1993 on 3 high-density 3.5-inch floppies, or 2 5.25-inch discs for holdouts, sporting a red barn foregrounded against an ominously cauliflower-shaped storm cloud. SimCity's country cousin sat on the bottom front banner, and that subtitle proved prophetic. The interface inherited every right-angle toolbar from its big city sibling, yet funneled attention toward tractors, irrigators, and a county board economy. I first loaded the demo at an XP arcade behind a row of Quake test beds. Minutes later, the room's FPS crowd was chanting for my cows to survive an incoming hailstorm. That scene replayed in computer labs across North America, where budget-starved schools found a ready-made civics and science hybrid as captivating as Oregon Trail. Mechanics. The simulation opens by asking which US climate zone will host your homestead. Pick the high plains and you'll court drought. Choose the northwest and rainfall may rot your hay bales. Select the deep south and hurricanes stalk your peanuts. Once the county deeds appear, the map unfolds in isometric tiles. Each can be plowed, fenced, paved, or left wild to shelter wildlife. Planting is a 2-click ritual. Choose crop type, drag acreage, and suddenly you're balancing germination windows against a forecast panel that spits daily highs, lows, and precipitation probabilities. Every field success lives or dies on soil texture. Loam grants bonus yields, clay crusts demand extra tractor passes, and alkaline patches need costly gypsum treatments. Machinery depreciates monthly, tractors guzzle fuel, and the bank's revolving loan bears interest that quietly compounds while you chase your dream of a fully mechanized sorghum empire. Meigs and Albers snuck QuickBooks DNA into a VGA pasture. One glance at the balance sheet and you know why real-world farmers keep antacid in their glove boxes. Livestock adds a second layer of juggling. Cattle, hogs, sheep, and horses each occupy fenced paddocks, require feed and veterinary inspections, and display well-being via a simple color bar that shifts from green to alarming crimson if disease, hunger, or manure neglect set in. Milk and wool ship on weekly schedules. Auction houses bid for hogs. Prize horses rake in ribbon premiums at the county fair if you built an arena. Ignore manure long enough and a pop-up warns in deadpan Maxis prose that odor complaints are rising faster than local property values. Disasters lurk behind the clouds. Lightning strikes can fry your gleaming new combine. Blizzards freeze winter wheat. And most infamous of all, the swirling gray funnel dubbed by my teenage cohort Kernel Sanders can descend without mercy. Watching that tornado chew a tidy corn grid into ragged edges, all while the panic-inducing roar of digitized wind blasts from a sound blaster speaker, is a baptism no SimFarm veteran forgets. The surrounding town isn't mere decoration. County officials periodically petition for donations to their school or fairgrounds. Ignore civic duty, and they might deny your permit for a rail spur, throttling grain export profits. Fund their pet projects, and they'll reciprocate with subsidies, land rezoning, or better commodity prices. A subtle nudge teaching that rural economies rarely operate in isolation. Controls mirror SimCity, left-click places, right-click examines, and function keys swing open finance, equipment, and weather dashboards. A suite of toggle windows reveals humidity curves, soil nutrient summaries, and national market boards where prices wobble with digital jitter. Season progression compresses to minutes. A full year slips by before your coffee cools. Yet crop phases still feel authentic. Seed flickers into green, matures to gold, and post-harvest stubble begs for a winter cover crop. Legacy and influence contemporary reviews applauded the depth. Computer gaming world praised its educational value. PC format hailed a sandbox of spreadsheets disguised as cute cornfields. And agricultural science teachers devoured the site license edition. Although Maxis never released hard sales numbers, school district adoption was widespread enough that many Gen Xers remember learning about debt service ratios via SimFarm before they could legally drive. Design ripples emerge everywhere. Yasuhiro Wada, father of Harvest Moon, has repeatedly cited Maxis' software toy philosophy when describing why slow life games work. Western observers often assume SimFarm was one of his reference points. Modern tycoon titles, Farming Simulator, Stardew Valley, even free-to-play juggernaut Heyday, all echo the crop timers, market swings, and livestock feedback loops perfected here. Academic circles still invoke its water management model when teaching soil conservation heuristics. Iowa State's AggieCon faculty kept it on lab machines well into the Windows XP era. Why then does SimFarm sit in the shadow of its urban sibling? Partly branding, city sounds aspirational, farm sounds like chores, and partly timing. Maxis pivoted within 2 years to glossier 3D experiments, Simcopter Streets of SimCity, that hogged marketing oxygen. Without sequels, the franchise lay dormant until a GOG re-release in 2014 nudged nostalgia streams and reminded everyone that soybean futures could be as thrilling as monster damage ticks. Kernel Sanders' legend lives on. Retro streamers routinely fire up the DOS version purely to spawn a tornado after locking hail insurance, just to watch Twitch chat vote which barns must perish. Speedrun communities chase sub-20-year financial domination goals, leveraging quick cycles, greenhouse strawberries, and precision irrigation placement. None rely on mythical perpetual drizzle exploits. Those rumors remain playground folklore, but they do illustrate how elastic the simulation remains 3 decades later. Closing paragraph plus score. Booting SimFarm in the modern era is like unearthing a pocket ledger written by a stand-up economist, equal parts number crunch and slapstick surprise. The grainy VGA palette still radiates pastoral coziness. The gentle cicada hum lulls you into spreadsheet zen, and then, inevitably, a hailstorm or twister arrives to throw your 5-year plan through the barn roof. Few Sims balance complexity and clarity so gracefully. You always see exactly which misclick flooded the alfalfa, and the fix is never more than a loan or crop rotation away, assuming the bank still answers your calls. Final grade. 8.7 out of 10. It lacks the metropolitan sparkle that keeps SimCity and coffee table retrospectives, yet no farming game since has matched its nimble blend of data, disaster, and down-home charm. Veteran or newcomer, spend one digital harvest with SimFarm and you'll never glance at a supermarket broccoli crown without hearing a little Max's voice whisper, "Did you remember the hail insurance?"